and I'd really try to push back against it.
You also spoke about an editing crisis, that writers don't want to have editors anymore.
I know. I love my editors are the best. They're amazing.
Why? How? You're basically saying highlighting the importance of an editor, and has it lost its way?
Well, I think a lot of people just there are fewer and fewer editors in the world. A lot of people want the byline. They want to be in the spotlight, so they want to be writers. And with the internet becoming the sort of primary publication tool, it's very fast. So when I worked at Fashionista, we didn't have editors. We used to like copy edit each other, or the commenters would copy edit us, which was helpful. But, and at BOF, very, very rigorous editing process. But I work with really brilliant team of editors now, and it has made my work. Some days I look and I think, did they do anything? And they just make it so much better without. They're very subtle and very sophisticated editors. And so it's just sometimes it's not like there's more back and forth, but generally I just feel really blessed that I have this group of people who are polishing my work and making it so that I can publish 5 days a week in a coherent way. And I do think, I don't think that there's not enough editing anywhere.
Yeah.
There's in collections, there's just so much, you just want to get everything out there. And sometimes I get in my own way, or you need to be saved from yourself. And that's what a good editor does. Mm-hmm. And I wish that there was more encouragement. I think some people go into editing because it's management, and management tends to pay more money, but then a lot of them resent it. I remember talking to a big editor who's works at an amazing publication, who told me that he sort of resented his writers because he would be like, I could have done it so much better. And I was like, I hope I never have to work with you. The best editors don't have that sort of ego. And so I think like if you write something, you should have someone else read it and give you feedback, because that's what makes stuff good. I was talking to a stylist about the tension between a designer and a stylist and how important that is.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's the same kind of thing. Like when a designer and a stylist are good together, it makes a collection so much better. And I think sometimes designers don't need a stylist for a while. Like Michael Ryder he styled the second Celine collection. I think it was better. Mm-hmm. But he needed the first collection with someone to understand what it was supposed to be. And I think it's the same kind of thing. You need that tension. Tension makes stuff better. Mm-hmm. And that's honestly in the reporting I'm doing, it's the same thing. Like I'm doing this because I think it's going to be better for these companies if I write honestly about them. It makes them feel like more real or something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the stylist designer kind of duo can be really iconic. I mean, yes. I can think of just so many off the top of my head of like two people coming together and like collaborating for X amount of years over time. That's like you start to know them together in their eyes.
Totally.
You know, Tom and Karine, or
yes.
Demna and Lada, or
and Lada and Yucha. Mm-hmm. Like both just like transformative in those companies. Katie Grand and Mucha. Katie Grand and Marc Jacobs.
Dying to have Katie on the show. She's
one
of my top gets.
She should.
I think she's so iconic.
She's so awesome.